So, welcome to Release and Restore. I'm Jen Barati, and I always appreciate everyone taking care and following medical advice for all the wellness sessions and for reaching out because there's always support through Vivaya community, with me before or after sessions, through local community networks and loved ones. And I'm grateful for everyone creating and maintaining this safe container for sessions together. So, hopefully, you've prepared your comfortable spot on a yoga mat or floor mat like me. Maybe you're on a chair or your bed. Maybe you've got some supports or blankets. It's getting kind of chilly. Maybe an eye pillow, and essential oils, and maybe even a precious stone. So see what you need today. And always feel free to pause the recording at any point to come back to get whatever you need. This month, we've been spending time with the inner resource and really feeling into the physical sensation tonight of this unchanging okayness and ease. We'll begin with gentle yoga. And always the Yoga Sutras, Svatiyaya, self-knowledge, Ishvara Pranadhanani, contemplation and surrendering. So finding that balance between that comfortable discomfort, releasing to the higher self, and listening to the body. And aparigraha, not needing anything, just feeling abundant already. Grateful for all the gifts of loved ones, from Mother Nature, and this greatest resource, this feeling of this unchanging ease and okayness of the inner resource. Interweaving the elements of the root chakra. We've been spending time this season with that, just at the energy space at the base of the spine. So we'll continue with that as you start to settle in. Maybe you're on a meditation cushion like I am, or your legs are crossed, or sitting wherever and however that feels right. So you might want to bring in that precious stone. So there's many stones that relate to the Muladhara, but I've got obsidian, and it's actually considered volcanic glass. So as the volcanic lava cooled so quickly, there weren't any time for the crystals to grow. And it's considered to have a strong and grounding energy. So very much like that stability and security and safety that we feel through the Muladhara chakra. Maybe even just holding it. I mean, people wear this around as a necklace or carried in their pocket, but even just holding it and just being open and just sensing anything. And that openness. You might bring it in again during the iRest meditation. So I'm going to set it aside for now, but it's close by. And I'm using vetiver tonight. It comes from tall grass found mostly in Southeast Asia. And you can use that again, like we always do. So if you want to, everything's an invitation. Always modifying or adjusting as you need to. Warming the hands. And already I can feel the sense of smell, the olfactory glands, which are this oldest sense, and connecting and grounding us. And then feel free to bring your hands to the Muladhara chakra when we come into pranayama. As you continue to open the senses, feeling that this rooting and grounding, feeling completely supported, even by the body touching all the surfaces, the legs, the glutes, maybe the feet, touching the ground and noticing where the ground comes up to meet you, really sensing the way. Maybe starting to feel and imagine this molten red. So I'll offer one aloud, but again, just let my words float away if they don't write. So feeling the inner resource in the body as physical sensation. Feeling the inner resource in the body as physical sensation. Feeling the inner resource inside the body as physical sensation. And even just saying that, I feel energy really flowing. Yeah, it's so powerful. So we'll invite our breath practice here. We've been continuing with Pratiloma and, just toning the respiratory muscles in the rib cage, the diaphragm, the abdominal muscles. So it's really important to keep doing your pranayama. Maybe whenever you don't have to do it at a special time, you can do it when you're taking a pause, when you're on transportation, whenever you need to. We breathe just throughout our lifetime. We'll do the stepped breathing again from the lower to the middle to the upper breathing space, and just feeling each to the degree that feels possible. Inhaling through the nostrils, lower to upper, exhaling from lower to upper. Okay, so we're doing a little bit different than we did last time. So feel free to bring your hands or not. And just notice the body is just breathing itself as it always does, not needing to do anything, just trusting. As long as you're alive, the body's doing its job, it's breathing. Then, as you're ready, maybe exhaling completely. And in your own pace, inhaling lower, middle, upper breathing space, exhaling lower, middle, upper breathing space. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. A couple more times. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. Inhale, lower, middle, upper. Exhale, lower, middle, upper. And then either continuing on your own or joining me as you release the hands and just notice again. Maybe there's an evenness in the breath, energy flowing freely through the body. Maybe noticing it in the hands. There's a warmth maybe in the torso, the face. And just throughout the practice, noticing the breath. There was a bit of a pause, as we inhaled and exhaled. So that's something to even note as well if you want to lengthen the pause. We'll come into a gentle yoga practice now. As always, feel free to modify as you if you need to stand. If you want to sit in a chair and modify, well, especially if there's something recommended from your medical practitioners. And if there's any discomfort at all, feel free to just rest in the seat, find other supportive movement. So I'm going to we'll come into the 7 movements of the spine, starting with the legs in front of us. If that, maybe there's a micro bend in the knee. And then I'm going to come to this long axial extension. So feeling through the whole spine, maybe the abs, you can feel those. Just feel your way. Might feel different in your body as you come into this. Feeling all the way up, cervical spine, neck. Another breath. And if you are at home, you might even take a moment to do some of that Pratiloma step breathing in this position. Okay. And then just gently separating the legs. We're going to come into some dynamic movement now, inviting the cervical spine as well to move dynamically, coming into lateral spine. So maybe initially we'll just come into just feeling our way from the hips all the way to the fingertips, feeling all the way to the cervical spine. And maybe the neck naturally wants to move. Mine always wants to move. Inhaling back to center and then feeling that on the other side. And then again, see what the neck wants to do. And then finding that dynamic movement coming from side to side. I've been finding this movement's been really helpful. Just releasing any tension in the hips, even with the legs separate like this. Feeling it all through the spine, all the way to the cervical spine. And release side body. Just a couple more times, just at your own pace. Okay. We're going to invite a twist here. So maybe crossing the legs, if that feels okay. You can always bend this leg or stay in a crossed legs, easy pose. So see which variation feels right for you. Inhale, lengthen, then exhale, start to twist. Perhaps roll up in the shoulder. Inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. Breathing here. I really love twists. It's catching your parasympathetic nervous system, and we just don't do it enough. So the spine really plays when it gets to twist. Okay, last breath. Coming back to center. Take a moment here, and then let's find that on the other side. So inhale, lengthen, exhale, start to twist. Roll up in the shoulder, inhale, lengthen, exhale, twist. And always being curious. One side might feel different than the other. Just several breaths here. Last breath. Okay, coming back to center. And then taking a moment, butterfly or more of a diamond shape, coming into flexion. So our last movement. Inhale, lengthen. Maybe the arms, the elbows come to the inner thighs. Maybe you open up the feet like a book. Feel the lengthening in the torso, in the spine as you come into flexion. And then again, see if the neck wants to move. Just notice the hips. Notice this opening, the groin area. Just a couple breaths here. Last breath. So coming up, see how you'd like to be in whichever position. You might use a blanket today because it's quite chilly here. Um, Always an eye pillow is possible, or essential oils, or even maybe having this obsidian if you haven't have a precious stone. So you might want to come into butterfly. It's one of my favorites. You might even want to keep the hands there holding on to the precious stone. You can come into shavasana and leave the stone. You can have it in the palm of your hand if that feels more supportive, more tactile. So perhaps just see what feels right for you as I prepare for our iRest practice. I have it in my hand, so maybe I'll keep it with me too for our practice today. And as always, just attend to whatever the body needs. Feel free to sit or stand, even. All possibilities are welcomed. You might fall asleep completely, might be resting, you might be completely alert and awake, or something in between. And if there's any discomfort that arises, feel free to just gently open the eyes, maybe grounding the feet, finding any movement. And the invitation throughout today and this week, until we meet again, is might you intentionally practice feeling into the inner resource? You've been practicing with using all the senses, and then you've been practicing with being curious, seeing if there's any words that connect you to the inner resource. And then all the while, especially for this practice, just feeling, feel, feel, feel. Notice where the inner resource arises in the body. So at any moment, you might feel the ease and okayness, safety and security. So let's complete our time together with iRest, Integrated Restoration, Yoga Nidra Meditation practice. So just start to settle in. Body positioning itself in any way that brings the greatest comfort and ease. Eyes opening or closing or gazing. Trusting everything's supporting you. And maybe being able to let go. If there's any residue of the day or of this month, might you imagine tucking it away, gently laying it down, recognizing you can come back to it again later, perhaps feeling ready and more refreshed. And just taking your time, allowing the senses to explore, freed all around. Welcome sensations of the body, feeling the spaces all around, sensing the textures and surfaces supporting you. Noticing any places of warmth, caress of air on the skin, any hints of color or light or shadows. Any sounds, maybe coming from the body itself or beyond the body. Noticing any tastes, any scents or aromas in the air. And the body making any final adjustments to feel comfortable and okay, at ease. During iRest, might you greet every experience as messengers or pointers, just as they are. Reflect upon the heart's deepest desire, longing or contribution, purpose for this lifetime. Why in the world? Experience and affirm the felt sense as though you're living and expressing it with the entire body at this very moment. Reflect upon an intention, your why for this moment or practice, supporting you in realizing the heartfelt desire. Perhaps an intention of feeling the inner resource in the body as physical sensation. Whatever feels right, whatever resonates for you. Remembering and fully welcoming this intention with the whole body and mind. Welcome in the inner resource, a safe haven, refuge, an oasis. Supporting you in feeling secure and safe, loved, okay, and at ease. At a moment's notice, perhaps connecting to the inner resource through imagery, enlivened by the five senses. Or perhaps connecting to the inner resource through words. And if there's no words, this too is a perfect experience. And a felt sense of the inner resource. Where does the inner resource arise in the body? And just taking your time as you bring attention to the inner resource. Welcoming the inner resource as a felt sense in the body. What feelings in the body connect you to feeling secure and at ease? And connect you to a felt sense of well-being and being. Taking a moment to notice in the body where and how you feel the sensations of well-being. And noticing any descriptions that arise describing this feeling of well-being. And just taking your time. Fully experiencing the inner resource of ease and well-being. Feeling the description of how you feel this in the body. Welcoming the entire body to experience the inner resource of ease and well-being. Recognizing and affirming, you can return to the inner resource at any time during this iRest practice and in everyday life. Whenever you feel the need for being secure, safe, loved, okay and at ease, and feeling well-being. Just taking the time to feel into well-being and being. And then as you're ready, allowing my word, your words, as attention floats through the body. Without any need to shift or soften. Everything perfect just as it is. Sensing the jaw, the mouth, dissolving through each nostril as sensation, sensing the outer anatomy of the ears, dissolving through each ear, sensing the space between the eyebrows, sensing each eye, dissolving through the eyes, sensing the forehead, attention resting on the entire face and head as sensation. Taking time to follow sensation throughout the body without judging or analyzing, feeling your way through the body. Feeling the unified face, head, and body as sensation. And the felt sense of the inner resource of being and well-being. And sensation floating through the body, breathing itself. Changing sensations, revealing unchanging awareness and wholeness of being. If it feels right, might you just notice any messengers or pointers arising? Any sensations, emotions, any thoughts, memory, or belief? What's calling for attention? Feeling the way, not needing to fix or change. And if nothing in particular is arising, this too is the perfect experience. Just stay with whatever is most calling for attention. Where do you feel this in the body? Might you interweave the inner resource of being and well-being? And as you're ready, perhaps staying with whatever brings the most ease and okayness, and letting go of everything else as it dissolves back to where it came from, back to unchanging awareness, containing everything and everyone, pure being and true nature, which you also are. And taking a moment to notice perhaps if joy might be arising. Joy that's independent of anyone and anything. feeling through the heart space, joy floating throughout the body, and maybe interweaving the inner resource of being and well-being along the way. And noticing how joy is also a changing sensation, arising and unfolding, and dissipating in its own time, back to where it came from, revealing something unchanging, pure being, which you also are. Imagine going about everyday life, awareness awake and aware of itself, sensing and affirming how in each moment you always recognize the perfect and precise response to each situation in life. Reflecting on this experience, welcoming unchanging awareness and wholeness, in which everything unfolds, everything expands, and everything dissolves back in its own time. Perhaps now you're continuing on into sleep if your day is done, or if there's a few more things left to do. Maybe feeling more refreshed and ready as you take the time to transition back to waking life, welcoming the senses to explore once again, sensing surfaces that have been supporting you, spaces all around, caress of air on the skin, places of warmth, any scents or aromas, residue of tastes, any sounds inside or outside of the room, any colors or light or shadows. Eyes beginning to open and close several times, integrating this experience into waking life. Body finding movement, fingers and toes wiggling, all the while staying with the felt sense of the inner resource, feeling the inner resource in the body as physical sensation, feeling this unchanging awareness, which everything and everyone arises. Moving back into everyday life with eyes wide awake, grateful for this time together, the practice of iRest. Thank you so much. I'll see you on Wednesday for monthly moves. We'll continue with our moon sequence that I adore. And or else I'll see you in a couple weeks. I'm going to be away for a little bit. So feel free to connect through these videos on YouTube, through the videos of previous sessions, lots of previous sessions on Vivaya. And there's so many other wonderful people you can connect with on Vivaya as well. So feel free to reach out to them. Otherwise, I'll see you on Wednesday. Take care.